pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now to the Texas flag. Honor to the Texas flag.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, at this time, I'd like Pastor Richard Barrow from the Adult Ministries at Humble Area First Baptist Church to give us our invitation.
Shall we pray? Father, thank you that you are creator of heaven and earth and all that there is. Father, help us to regard you as the holy God that you are.
God, lead bless our businesses, our cities, and our families. God, thank you for these men and women who have gathered here this morning to help improve our community. God, we just pray that you would bless this time, make it fruitful and productive. Father, we also pray for those who have been affected by the recent
Floods, God, we pray that you would provide protection both for life and for property. We pray for provision for those who are in need. And Father, now we thank you for the food that we're about to receive and the conversations that we'll have around the tables.
Bless it to your
Glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. All right, I first want to thank our presenting sponsor, Ferguson Bath and Kitchen Gallery. Is Jennifer Perez here? Come on up, Jennifer.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Perez, and I'm the showroom consultant here located in our Humble location. I want to thank you all for having us today. We greatly appreciate the opportunity to be today's sponsor and thrilled to be involved in such a great organization. Just a little bit about our store. Our Humble store is located at 1803 Roughneck Drive in the industrial park of Wilson Road in business 1960. We are a plumbing wholesaler open to the public, offering you plumbing parts, which we have very expertise counter associates that can help you identify any plumbing parts or needs that you may need. With that being said, we also have a beautiful showroom located at the same location to help you design that dream kitchen, bathroom, outdoor kitchen that you may be thinking of doing. We have very popular manufacturers that offer a large selection of faucets such as Kohler, Moen, Delta, Grohe. Also wanted to express that we also offer appliances such as Thermador. We have a really nice display of Thermador appliances in our showroom, a full suite to give you that professional style kitchen, along with other manufacturers as well. If you or a friend or family member ever think of wanting to remodel or even just need that single faucet to spice up the kitchen, please stop by. I've attached my business cards to all of the pamphlets that are laid out in the seats there to the Thermador pamphlet as well. That's got my phone number. Give me a shout, make an appointment, or even just stop by and let us help you design that project for you. Thank you guys and enjoy your lunch.
Thanks, Jennifer. We appreciate that. Thank you, Ferguson Bath and Kitchen, for all they've been doing in our community. We appreciate that. Also, our other sponsors today, our gold sponsors, Waste Connections of Texas. Our bronze sponsors, FFG Strategic Consulting, LLC Engineering Solutions. Now I want to recognize the dignitaries that are here. We have, and some of these you'll hear from in a few minutes, Dave Martin, Houston City Council member. He was just right here. All right. Jeremy Phillips with Commissioner Jack Mormon's office, along with Gretchen Knowles, who is our area liaison, I guess. Is that the right way to put it? All right. Heath Rushing, Humble ISD trustee. I don't think I saw Heath come in, but he was supposed to be here. Myself, Mike Sullivan, Harris County tax assessor and collector. I think he's in the middle of some county issues right now. And our newly elected Humble ISD trustee, who will take office on next Tuesday, April the 9th, Nancy Morrison. Or in 2 weeks, week and a half. And I hope I didn't miss anyone, because several folks are going to be up here talking here in just 1 second. If I could get the Lake Houston Board of Directors to stand up and be acknowledged. Board of Directors, Lake Houston Area Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for all you do. All distinguished investors, if I could get you to stand up and be acknowledged. All distinguished investors, thank you so much. Without you folks, we couldn't do what we do. We also have 2 companies that have upgraded to distinguished investors, Dearbrook Mall and Waste Management of Atascocita. If you could stand and be recognized. Thank you so much. At the conclusion of our program today, if y'all can join Stephanie and Colleen here at the front of the stage so she can take pictures and give you your plaques. That'd be great. Let's see, recognition of ambassadors. If you're part of our ambassador program, please stand and be recognized. These are some of the hardest working volunteers you're going to come across. Thank y'all so much. And then we have 1 new member to recognize, and that's Houston Apartment Association. Thank you so much. Okay, so at this time, I want to introduce our panel, and I'll kind of tell you how this is going to work. Each of our panelists will have 5 to 7 minutes to visit or talk about what what's on their agenda, and then after they all get through, then we'll have some Q&A from the audience. So first is Quincy Allen with the district engineer. John Elam, North Harris area engineer. Daryl Bosky, Humble city manager. Jeremy Phillips, senior director of infrastructure, precinct 2. And Dave Martin, Houston City Council member, District E. If I could have each of you come up and find a spot here at our front table. No certain order. Let's see, I guess we'll start from this end.
Hello, everybody. I don't know if the slide shows up, but I'll start since I'm going to try to explain all the Atascocita mobility issues in about 5 minutes. So here we go. My name is Jeremy Phillips. I'm with Commissioner Jack Mormon's office. We are responsible for the majority of the road maintenance and capital improvements inside the Atascocita area, predominantly inside the residential areas. I don't know what slide's up because I can't see it, but it should be precinct 2 at a glance. If you take a look, you'll see that we have a very interesting precinct boundary. If you go ahead and just go to the next slide, please. We've got, if you look right here, if you travel down Westlake Houston, starting from the bridge going into Kingwood, you'll leave 4 coming out of Kingwood, travel down into precinct 2, pick 4 back up right there at the triangle at Atascocita in 1960, then continue down 2 until you hit the railroad tracks, and then now you're in precinct 1. So if that's not clear enough for you, see me after this and we can go over it again. But the good news is we don't let those things stop us from talking about projects and talking about and discussing how we move forward on improving mobility in here. One of the biggest things that we talked about last time when I was at the BizCon with Lake Houston Chamber was the Atascocita Mobility Project, or Mobility Study. You can go to the next slide, please. what we learned and some of the things we knew, and these are preliminary findings, the study's ongoing, but, and these are things that are kind of no-brainers. Tallahassee area continues to grow. Demographics show that in the school district, as well as the massive growth in the residential commercial development. We have limited connectivity to the Beltway, which is a no-brainer. Intersections are operating at lower levels of service than we originally thought, which we'll get into here in a minute. And we need to start thinking and rapidly start moving on improved connectivity between Atascosa's developing southern areas. So those are some of the takeaways that we're going. Let's go straight to the next slide, please. If you want to take a look at some of the short-term recommendations that are coming out, we didn't wait for the report to get finished to start moving on some of these things. Little red dots with a D in them mean they're in design, and the little red dot with a C in it means it's complete. FM 1960 at Timber Forest, FM 1960 at Kings Parkway, FM 1960 at Westlake Houston Parkway, and Westlake Houston at Will Clayton Parkway. All 4 of these intersections were recommended, and we're moving forward on design now. 3 of these, I'll get into in a minute. 3 of these, the Timber Forest, Kings Parkway, and Westlake Houston at Will Clayton, will probably take about a year for design and construction, and we're going to be adding turn lanes on the county side of the project. Excuse me. Yeah, FM 1960 is a tech stop facility, but we've got some intersection issues that are on the county side, and we're going to be adding right turn lanes in some cases, extending storage for left turn lanes. What we're finding is a lot of traffic coming out of the Kingwood area and the northern portions of Atascocita, traveling down places like Timber Forest. 300 and something odd turning movements on the right out of Timber Forest in the morning on the 1960. 400 some odd coming out of Kings Parkway, turning right on 1960. And we just don't have the capacity at the intersection right now on the county side to accommodate that. So we're going to move forward on those projects. Westlake Houston and Will Clayton, we're going to be adding dual lefts coming northbound from Westlake Houston, turning, I guess that'd be westbound on Will Clayton. And y'all seen some developer activity in there. We've added some left turn lanes on the Will Clayton side as a part of the development with the bridges. Those developers did that for us. And then Will Clayton Parkway at Timber Forest, which was a major intersection, and we just completed that this past January. So, next slide, please. These are just some schematics of what we're doing over at 1960 at Timber Forest, the 3 projects I just discussed. What we're finding, lack of intersection efficiency, high volumes of southbound right turns, high volumes of northbound left turns. Just the intersection is not capable of putting enough cars through it, given the timing that we've got. So we're going to be adding some of that efficiency back in the intersection and working with TxDOT on those permits and moving forward on improving the county's portion of those roads. Next slide. Same thing, here's Kings Parkway. This is the one that has 400 right turns every morning going on to 1960. And this is probably one of the biggest things that our study did. You know by looking at it, but you don't really know how bad until they quantify it. And that's what we got. There's a bunch of quantification on all of our issues at our intersections. Next slide, please. Westlake Houston Parkway at Will Clayton. Again, we've had some modifications from the bridges, adding northbound left turns. So we'll have dual lefts and we'll do some signal mods. All 3 of these projects, we should be underway with design this next quarter, which is next week. And it's about $750,000 worth of project value. And hopefully we'll get that thing all knocked out in a year. We'll know a little bit more once we get our consultant underway. Next. All right, this is the big one, and this is the one that's still in very preliminary discussion with some of our partners and others. But these are the areas inside Precinct 2. The big discussion on the Atascocita mobility study is what about Woodland Hills and what about connectivity to the Beltway and things like that. I guess right now I just tell you there's no funding identified yet, and these are only conceptual discussions at this point. These are obviously things that are going to come out as recommendations. They may get tweaked here or there, but bottom line is the precinct is actively monitoring the development in the area. The groves, you've got another developer to the south. We're waiting to see what kind of activities are going on there. All those things and the timing play into the Woodland Hills extension. We are tracking it, and we're looking at right now internally what it's going to take to do it in terms of cost, phasing of the project as well, and see if that's something that we can move forward with. Madera Run is a major thoroughfare being built out currently by the developers at the Groves. They are marching their way from West Lake Houston west, and we love to see that. I think we're going to monitor that, and just based on the pace of development, we'll see if we have a good, useful fit for any other projects that may complement the development that's going on in there. Those are things that are all in consideration as well. And then Kings Parkway, which some people know as Itasca Oaks. One of the things with what we're looking at here is you obviously go to 1960 at Itasca Cedar or 1960 at Westlake Houston, and you say these intersections are terrible. You know, you could widen them, but you could also provide better and more diverse routing. And one of the things that we're looking at is how do you get more traffic on other routes to alleviate the congestion at certain intersections. And Kings Parkway is an example of something that may come out in the recommendation that where we can bypass these heavily used intersections and take a certain portion off to access the school or access certain portions of the commercial area without having to go through the intersection that everybody loves to sit at. So that's the, you know, these are some of the things that are still ongoing, and we anticipate a lot more in discussion with our partners, our other precincts, as well as TxDOT as we finalize the report. So the next slide, please. This is an update on a project that we talked about at the last BizCon. We talked about Will Clayton and Westlake Houston corridor, what they call Intelligent Transportation System and Traffic Improvements Project. This is a TxDOT CMAQ program that we partnered with the state utilizing their program to improve the mobility in the area. It's not a golden ticket. It won't solve Westlake Houston's capacity issues. What it will do is help alleviate and deconflict some of the turning movements off the main lanes. And it basically, if you take a look right now, it's a bunch of southbound, northbound turn lanes additions so that people can get in a turn lane and in storage as opposed to hemming up the through lanes. So you can see the number of turn lanes additions. We are also going to be working with the state and trying to figure out if we can add an additional turn lane there at Westlake Houston at 1960 going northbound and trying to figure out if the geometry works there. The design is pretty much complete. We're pushing it over to the TxDOT for review. And they currently have us on a letting schedule for December 2015. Those dates can shift a little bit, but we anticipate either late 2015 or early 2016 before the project's out for construction. And that's about $3.8 million worth of improvements. And another big thing that this does is provides fiber optic connectivity to all the signals on these corridors for better resilience and things of that nature. One new signal will be added at June Forest, which is on Will Clayton. If anybody's over there, been around the area, it's a safety concern. Definitely happy to see that thing come in. I ran through all that. I probably took a little more time than I needed, but I'll be here afterwards for questions. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Martin, and I'm the Houston City Council member that represents not only Kingwood, but also Clear Lake. Don't ask me that question now. It's the most convoluted area in the city. Jessica, if you do me a favor, give me like a 5-minute when I get to 5, and then we'll go from there. First of all, I'd like to give everybody a quick 1-minute update on what we witnessed this week. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to go in HPD helicopter and tour not only the dam in Conroe with the flow of water that goes from Lake Conroe into Lake Houston and through the San Jacinto. Because as you'll see out here, while the last 2 days we've had a really good-looking days, a lot of sunshine, no rain. Everybody's guard has been down a little bit. We at Kingwood haven't seen the worst. And the reason why I say that is they opened up the full body of the flow of water from Lake Conroe into Lake Houston. They did that on Tuesday night. So where we received about 50% of the water volume from Sunday, Monday, when they opened up the gate, we get the full 100%. So what we'll see is a cresting of the lake probably around Saturday. The interesting thing that we're monitoring, we had the opportunity to go in the air and look at all this and look at all the other areas in central Houston. not only Allen Parkway and Brays Bayou and White Oak Bayou, but we took a tour up and went up to Conroe, went up to the Woodlands and watched the areas and the spreading of the water. You could see it. Yesterday at 8:45 in the morning, we had the gauges. You have two gauges of water levels. One is in Porter and one is at Humble. Humble is at Highway 59. So we really look at the Porter gauge to see what's going to happen a couple hours later at the Humble gauge. And there was 4 feet of water that worked its way from the Porter gauge to the Humble gauge in 4 hours yesterday. So as they release this water, it's coming. The good news is that when you get into Lake Houston, it's not that much of a narrow body. It starts spreading out, so that 4 feet will not be a true 4 feet. It'll probably be a couple of feet. But yesterday we did have the opportunity to go out in the boats on Lake Houston. And an interesting thing is we went through Forest Cove and took the boat through the front yards of many people. As many people know, Forest Cove is in the 100-year floodplain, so they experienced a great deal of flooding. But if anyone's interested, we're monitoring the gauges every single hour. We're on social media, Twitter, Facebook, so please friend us and you'll get the latest and greatest data. But we're keeping our fingers crossed. It's supposed to rain again tonight and tomorrow, so the thing that we're worried about is not necessarily the rain, but the flow of water from Conroe into Lake Houston, so stay tuned to that. The Kingwood Mobility Study, which has been top on everyone's mind. When I first took office on council about 3 years ago, the first thing I was presented with was the widening of Kingwood Drive by the city of Houston. And their plan had 8 lanes from Highway 59 to West Lake Houston on Kingwood Drive. And I went, wait a minute, let's stop for a minute and make sure this makes sense, because in my opinion, Kingwood residents do not want 8 lanes going from the front to West Lake Houston. So we had the opportunity to put together a really good group of Kingwood people. I had the mayor's permission that Kingwood people would form a steering committee and would have the opportunity to have Kingwood people decide what we want to do with our street, not the city of Houston. Through the capital improvement project process, they allocated $15 million to us for this particular project. So 2 people that are in the room today were a member of the steering committee, Corinne Price and Charlie Drongul. And throughout the last year, we started this in April of 2000. I really want to live here, but God, it takes me 25 minutes to get from the back of Kingwood to 59. Can you do something about it? So our point was to try and attack Montgomery County's road, which is North Park. Montgomery County owns North Park from 494, roughly 59, all the way back to around St. Martha's Church. So the reason why we decided to try and attack that first is because the allocation of funds from the city of Houston limit us to design and planning in the year 2017 and construction in 2019. Our opinion is we have mobility issues now. It's the single most pressing issue that we have in Kingwood. So let's look at Montgomery County's North Park, where we started talking to Montgomery County officials. Matter of fact, Charlie and I are going tomorrow to meet with the folks that lost the recent election on their bond package, the commissioner and the judge of Montgomery County, and trying to present a plan to them that hopefully they'll partner with us. So bottom line is, we're going to try and attack North Park first. The reason why we're going to attack North Park first is you can't do both concurrently. I would be strung up on the corner of West Lake Houston and Kingwood Drive by a rope if I tried to do that. So you have to do one first. Montgomery County has a big ditch in the middle of it. It's an ugly, Montgomery County. North Park Drive has a big ditch. It's very unattractive, and nobody complains about filling in a ditch. They complain about cutting down a tree on Kingwood Drive. So our vision is you attack North Park first, expand it from 494 to Woodland Hills, make it 3 lanes on each side for a total of 6 lanes with a nice constructed median right in the middle filled with landscaping and trees. So how many people would complain about that? Not one. Now you go to Kingwood Drive, it's more contentious. A lot of people don't want to touch a tree. So we're going to try and do that for 2 reasons. Number one, it's an easier task politically to take. This is a tough deal. Half the people want you to do it on Kingwood Drive and half don't. So we want to do North Park first to show the naysayers that you can do this the right way, so that when Corinne and Charlie and Jeff and Mark Micheletti, your old chairman, put together this plan, they knew what the heck they were doing. So they can sit back after we do North Park and say, you know what, you guys did it the right way. It eased mobility, it's an attractive piece of land, and let's move on to Kingwood Drive, where there's a little bit more contentious. So that's what we're going to do. We also had basically 5 quick recommendations. Number 1 was intersection improvements that we're going to do right away. Intersection means, as Jeremy said, you start doing right-hand lanes, constructing left-hand turns. That doesn't affect the integrity of the 4 lanes we have on Kingwood Road now. The second thing is we're going to attack North Park Drive. We can do it immediately because in the CIP, the Capital Improvement Project Plan for Kingwood Drive, we cannot touch that street until the year 2019 for construction. So between now and then, mobility isn't going away, so why not take North Park and do it the right way and get the volume of cars to go on that 6-lane road when you start constructing 6-lane for Kingwood from 59 to Woodland Hills. We're not going further past Woodland Hills. One of the things we are going to try and do, and this is a very expensive project, is something you may hear called grade separation. Grade separation, I'm not an engineer, but grade separation is basically a fly over the railroad tracks on both North Park and Kingwood Drive. So when you come off of 59, you can go to the street level and then you'll have an overpass over Union Pacific Railroad. It solves mobility issues and solves safety issues, because how many times I got caught in it yesterday morning trying to get down Kingwood Drive. So grade separations on both North Park and Kingwood Drive. So Jessica just gave me the word that I'm about almost a minute over. 2 quick subjects, real quick. Panel replacements. How many people witnessed the patch job of asphalt filling in the holes on Kingwood Drive? Well, I think we complained a lot about that, and then you saw what happened. We're replacing entire panels of concrete, which is a good thing. Last thing is, how many people here go to St. Martha's Catholic Church? Okay, so there's a study that's been done. We need a light at that intersection, and self-admit, I'm a St. Martha's parishioner as well. It was never in the plan. It was never designed to be put there unless the Capital Improvement Project Fund would do it. So each council member is allocated a certain amount of money. So I allocated $250,000 towards the installation of a street light at St. Martha's, and we're probably within 30 days, maybe 30 days, 60 days of getting that implemented, which would help the flow of traffic on North Park at that intersection. So, yes, ma'am. That's a good question. No, it operates every day, but you're going to time it to where on, you have a big middle school that has 1,200 kids in there back in New Caney. So you have to time it accordingly in the hours of middle school kids going to class, which is about 8 o'clock in the morning. So we'll use the timers to make sure that we don't block up North Park for the benefit of that Woodlands Pines. I think that's the name of the street. But anyway, I'm beyond my limit. So thank you all for listening and stay tuned. And Jennifer, where's Jennifer? I saw her here earlier. Thanks for all the good publicity you gave us in the paper. Even though you guys wrote a weekly article, I still had people come to the meeting and say, where did this come from? We never heard a thing about it. And I'm like, my God, what tunnel are you sleeping under?
Thanks, Dave. Well, mine's pretty simple, so I don't have all that. I don't have anyone mad at me at the moment. And those people flying up to Kingwood, they're coming right through Oval. I mean, like 90 miles an hour on that service road. Just to give you a little update, we've been working on Wilson Road for quite a while, from Will Clayton to Atascocita. Robert, we're really going to concentrate the next few months if we can get some of this rain away so we can fix that area up by Will Clayton for the transportation for the buses, for all of that up there. Hopefully in 4 or 5 months we'll be finished with that project. That's what I've been told. That's how it is. Now, if y'all haven't been to downtown Noma, you haven't seen our new water feature. That's Higgins Street in front of City Hall. We dug it up and it started raining. I don't know what's going on with that. I hope they'll fill that hole in pretty quick. It's just a mess there. And then we'll do Main Street. So Charlie, get ready. hope that rain goes away.
We might be on the moat.
That's right. Hey, maybe we can never mind. Take a deal from San Antonio, I guess you saw their flooding. Anyway, we'll start over there next, and hopefully we'll have all of that finished by Thanksgiving. That's our projected timetable to finish that. You're really gonna like it. We're gonna have concrete paved streets there in Main Street in front of the chamber, turn of century lighting underneath those oak trees. We're gonna add some sidewalks there. That's really gonna be an attractive feature, and we're gonna do some brick pavers in the intersections at Bender, right there by the bank in front of the courthouse. So it should look very, very nice. And I can proudly say that the $1.1 million we spent on Willow Street, which probably no one even knows where that is, but it included Jordan's Gully and 2 retention areas. So no one on Houston Avenue got flooded in the last rain, right? Jennifer, I know you said no.
We did not.
So it worked. That's a great blessing, because we used to have a couple of feet of water on Stat Eye, and now you can get to Cheney without getting your feet wet. So Scott will really appreciate that. Then within the next few months, we will start engineering on the north and south segment of West Townsend, which we're ecstatic about that, and I look so forward to it. So look for that. Hopefully in the next month, the council will give us the money to start that engineering part of it. I can't tell you when construction will begin, but with any luck, maybe the latter part of this year, or maybe the late part of summer. So it'd be a good thing. And that way you'd have 4 lanes. Our loop, if you want to call it that, from Townsend. Thanks.
Thank you, Darrell. Good afternoon, and thank you for having us. I'm too close to this microphone here. I'm Quincy Allen. I'm the new district engineer in Houston, in the Houston district for TxDOT, and we're excited to be here. I'm with John Elam. He's our area engineer here in North Harris. His office is down on 59 near Rankin. And he's certainly ready, willing, and able to help and meet with you. We've talked with some of you about forming a transportation subcommittee for the chamber, and I've been involved with those in the past, and they're very effective. Let me give you a few district facts, and I'm going to hand the microphone over to John and let him talk about some projects. We're the biggest district in TxDOT in Texas. We've got 6 counties: Brazoria, Fort Bend, Galveston, Harris, Montgomery, and Waller. We don't have Chambers or Liberty yet, but I'm just teasing though. Anyway, not only are we big, we got a lot of people, and we're getting bigger. We've got almost 6 million people in our district, and almost 6 million cars to go with them. And every day we're getting about 500 new residents to our area. Tremendous growth, tremendous traffic. You guys are seeing it, not only in your community, but all over our area. We've got a pretty good program coming. You've been hearing about some funding working its way through the legislature. That's not been finalized yet, but we're excited to hear that transportation is a big concern for everyone. Okay. We've got 1,000 employees in Houston working in various areas. John has about 50 assigned to North Harris. He's got a maintenance section over there and folks that administer the construction contracts. We've got 10,500 lane miles. That doesn't seem like a lot, but a lot of them are on freeways, and it takes a lot of care to take care of those. We're all talking about projects here, and I just want to tell you just a few things about what we're doing at TxDOT to get ready for the big push to help handle our problems, because this mobility and access are becoming some of our key topics, key focus. All right, TxDOT has committed more money to the planning effort and the development authority. Okay, I'm using some buzzwords you probably haven't heard. When we get ready to do a new project, first thing we have to do is environmental work. Make sure that we're environmentally sound and clear on our project with federal requirements and things like that. Every time I say environmental work, some of my partners like Jeremy just cringe because they know it takes a long time. Okay, and what's happened in the past, funding has come at unexpected times in different places, and we were so thankful to get it, but we'd have to scramble around and find a project that was ready. Now we're getting ready for more, bigger, and better things. We're starting environmental work now. We've gotten the funding for consultants to help us with that effort. We get the environmental done. Next comes, Jeremy will tell you, the right-of-way. We get the right-of-way done, we get utilities adjusted, and then we're ready to start breaking ground. It's exciting. It's planning that we haven't been able to do to this extent, to this length and width in a long time, and we're very thankful for that opportunity. And when the legislature's done, we'll be ready if more money comes this way, or maybe we should say when more money comes this way. I'm going to give the microphone, I promise, to John in just a second. I need you guys to help me with something. Every time I get a chance to visit with you, I'm always impressed with how many people want to come to us and say, hey, we want to talk about this and partner with you and do, man, we need more of that. If you've got an idea for a project, work with your leaders, come see us. I told somebody to make an appointment. I kept telling people, hey, drop by, and they started dropping by, and we were just besieged, which is great. The interest is so fantastic. Make an appointment, we'll get to you, and Jeremy will testify that we're good partners. We try to do what we say on schedule we say, and certainly work together to do some good things. Last thing I need your help with is safety. All right? We're talking about so many people moving here. Anybody want to guess how many people a day in Texas lose their lives as a result of traffic accident? Okay. Would you be surprised it's between 9 and 10? We're going to lose about 3,400 people this year on our system. We just got to stop that. At 9 people a day, we put that to the back of our mind. At the end of the year, we got 3,400 people that just didn't make it, and it's just unacceptable to us. We're not going to be able to push this number down and push it to 0 without everybody working together. Lots of people stand up here in front of you and tell you, hey, don't drink and drive, it's a big, and I agree with that. I think you got that message. I think almost as frequent you hear, don't text and use your phone. And I hope that you're not. It's hard, but you got to put that down. But I'm going to give you some just simple things that you can do and teach your children to do. Obey the speed limit. Just slow it down a little bit. Yeah, it's hard in this town. People are, we got business to do, and we got to get there and do that. Increase the following distance between you and the person in front of you. Then if that guy makes a mistake, you got enough time to get out of his way, or the mess that he makes. Just little things. Now, when you open that gap up, somebody say, man, Quincy, they pulled right in front of me. Okay, deep breath. All right. We're trying to get you home safe. Make that space a little bit bigger. All right. Always set a good example for your children. There's no better teacher in their lives. They're going to do exactly what you do. You're talking on the phone, whizzing down the freeway. When they get to be 16, they're going to think that's okay, no matter what you tell them. They've made that connection. Be good teachers, be good citizens. Folks, thank you for what you're doing, for reaching out to transportation and offering to partner with us. And I want to recognize Delvin Dennis in the crowd, one of your own. He's one of our former district engineers, and I had the pleasure of serving under him as director of maintenance. He's an awesome guy. If you need to get in contact with any of us, he still knows our home phone numbers probably. So let's work through the front door of the office, but if you need to call me at home, he'll give you the number. All right, thank you, Delvin. John?
I'm going to have to get down there so I can use this high-tech gadget. So I see, go through the projects on PowerPoint. Okay, go to the next slide. Next. Okay, as you see, these are the projects that they're going to be, some of these projects, they're going to be led. Okay, for the back. I can't see. Get closer. Yeah, these are 2015 projects that they are going to be led in 15. And as you see, what we have, Beltway 8 from I-45 to 59, we are going to add some auxiliary lane and make the ramps more efficient, and also raise the grade at Aldine Westfield. And that's going to be led in July. And go to the next slide, is going to give more description of the project. Next one. Yeah, this one. That's business 1960 that most of y'all have seen under construction. And right now the work is suspended because of the utility complex, and we're trying to resolve the redesign around the utilities. So likely within a couple of weeks we're going to start work at BF 1960. And that's over $14.8 million project. What it does, it does some widening at sidewalk. It implement PMS median in the road to improve safety. Next slide. Okay, go to the next one. And that's the Beltway 8 I was talking about earlier. That's going to be improved by widening shoulder and adding auxiliary lanes. Go to the next slide. And here is the description of that project. It's a $29.5 million project. And it's going to widen the bridges, and it's going to make, improve the mobility and the routes. The next slide. Okay, here are the 2016 project plan for that year. Go to the next slide. Okay, go to the next. Okay, FM 1960, that project is milling and overlaid, and it's going to be from Lee Road all the way to Lake, and it's an $8 million project. Go to the next slide. And that's the description of project, and the limit is an $8 million project. Next slide. Okay, that's the same map. Go to the next. Okay, here's Loop 494 that is going to be completely rehabbed to 4 lanes with raised median, and is scheduled for lane for March of 2016. And it's a $14.7 million project. It's going to be 4 lane with raised median at the same. Next slide. Okay, that's the same map. Go to the next. Okay, the next big job is the M2100, and that limit for that project is from south of Diamond Head Drive to FM 1960. It consists of 3 segments, and it's a $60 million project. It is a schedule for letting for 2016. And it's going to be all concrete pavers. And it would have TMS, raised median for traffic management. Next slide. Okay, the next, these are 2017 to 2018. Next slide. Okay, next. Okay, one is Beltway 8, Frontage Road, starting at Hardy Toll Road to Aldine Westfield, which we are going to reconstruct the feeder roads at that area. And it's a $13.2 million. Next slide. Okay, next. Okay, FM 525 is a short segment between Lee Road and 59. That's going to be widened to 4 lanes because it's needed. It's too narrow, and it's scheduled for 2017. Next slide. Next. Okay, Beltway 8 Frontage Road project from JFK Boulevard to Lee Road. And that's a $4.5 million project resurfacing. Likely it's going to be a thin bonded overlay concrete, and it is scheduled for 2018. Next slide. Okay, go next slide. Okay, these are summary project that I just talked about. Go to the next slide. And here's the overview, all the projects that we have all the way from 15 to 2018. I think that's all I have. I'd like to add something that Quincy talked about, safety. please encourage your family when you go to a work zone to slow down. There are a lot of fatalities happening in work zone areas. Take work zone areas serious and go to the work zone very cautiously. Thank you.
Okay, we have a few minutes for questions.
Not very often.
There it is. Well, they know when I get a microphone, this is going to go to like 3 o'clock, but I promise to keep it short. But it's not often that we get county officials, city officials from both municipalities, TxDOT here in a room, so now's the time to ask questions if you've got questions for any of the individuals. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to know how we can stop the 18-wheelers from being in the left 2 lanes on the freeways.
Thank you, I appreciate your question. That's probably going to take legislation to do that that has been discussed in this session. I'm not sure how that progressed, but we're with you on that. Send me a note and I'll get with you and put together the folks that are working on this. I've got business cards that we get done.
Anybody else? Yes.
Are there any, San Antonio recently enacted this, I guess last year. Are there any plans in the Houston area to enact a hands-free cell phone law?
Yes, we've talked about that. We've talked about that on numerous occasions. The mayor controls the agenda, and right now I don't think she's going to put it on, so we'll probably have to wait till the next administration takes office. So I would envision that coming in the early part of 2016, but we've beat that around a number of times, and I think I'm guilty. I'm bad at it. I wish they would have an ordinance against it. Maybe I'll get better at it, but I think it's a good idea. But look for that in 2016. Quit laughing, Corinne.
Yes, I was wondering if the slideshow for the improvements to 1960 and all of that, is that on the website for the county or TxDOT?
We could, I'm not sure it's on the website or how easy it would be to find. Let me get John to send you a copy of these slides if you're welcome to share them or whatever you'd like to do with it.
If you'll send it to us, we'll put it on our
Okay, great. John, work with Charlie.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to request both presentations, have it sent to the chamber office, and then they can get that information out to the membership.
Great.
Okay? Scott?
I'm just wondering, for the Atascocita mobility study, has anything, was it ever reviewed or looked at turning Atascocita Road into a 4-lane expressway all the way to the Beltway, long-term before?
In terms of Atascocita Road, 4-lane expressway, all straight to the Beltway as opposed to doglegging?
Well, you know, where it hits Old Humble Road, it would continue at that point.
Oh, no, we didn't specifically look at that. I think the thing that we were trying to figure out is there's capacity on Atascocita Road now. Over time, I'm sure there'll be mobility improvements towards that connection. I think the thing that we were trying to tackle most was the lack of options to get to the Beltway on this side. That is an existing connection that provides access to both 59 and Beltway 8. Our biggest problem over here is we lack any other connection outside of Westlake Houston to get us south. And so I think the thing that we were trying to do is find the areas that haven't been built out yet and look at how we prioritize those. And that's what we're doing. But we can definitely take a look at it. I have not looked at the right-of-way issues or any of those type of things in terms of what would go into that. But if you want to stay behind afterwards, I can make sure I answer your question more thoroughly later.
Okay, last question.
There's a project on the books called Project Lucy. It's a development south of Eagle Springs, between Eagle Springs and Beltway, and I believe includes Woodland Hills being extended. Any of you know any information on that project?
I haven't seen any platting activity or any of the activity that due diligence type of stuff that developers do. when they start moving forward on that. Sometimes we see it, sometimes we get wind of it early, sometimes we see it when it comes across the desk, but the only thing I've seen so far is obviously the Groves and their planning efforts and their movement, from east to west. But we are aware of who they are, and those would be, as we have those Woodland Hills discussions, those landowners will have to be involved.
We just had a building and planning meeting with the school district, and that everything that's happening right now was brought up, and that was not one of the things. So it's not imminent yet. Okay.
Is there any possibility of widening of 1960 in the near future?
What was the question, Charlie?
Is there any possibility of widening 1960?
Widening 1960.
Going to be resurfacing it next year. Is there any possibility of widening 1960?
There's a possibility, Charlie. We need to get with you and look at the needs in the area and see the partnerships that we can put together to support that work. Right now, we're going to surface this thing to make it last a little bit longer. Widening is not as easy as it looks. Obviously, we've got right-of-way issues and utilities and all that. But that doesn't scare us off a project. Let you and I and John get together and get looking at that. We'd be glad to roll up our sleeves and work with you on it.
Tom, did you have a question after I cut everybody off?
I was just going to ask about, you mentioned the text about the $60 million project on the other side of the lake, and what exactly is that? Or did I misunderstand?
21.
Was that 2100?
FM 2100 from South Diamond Head to FM 1960.
I'm sorry?
That's a project that Jeremy and I are working on. It's on the east side. It's sort of outside the area. It goes from Crosby north toward Huffman. Three $20 million projects in there. We've got a lot of growth over in that area, and we're trying to also make the north-south route in there a little bit safer. We've had a lot of horrific head-on crashes there, but with Jeremy's help, we formed a partnership there. We're working strongly together and moving that project forward. So, anyway, thank you for your question. Yes, Doug?
Thank you.
Yeah, we're close on time, so I've got two more questions right here.
Charlie, this was before you came in to the chamber, but probably 6 years ago. TxDOT started the public process on widening 1960 to 7 lanes. It's about to tell us in 2008 or 9 when TxDOT went broke, but the public meetings we had showing what we wanted to do were not well received at all from businesses and property owners along the route. So I think even if we'd have been flush with money, we'd have probably had a difficult time adding capacity to 1960 because of pushback.
You might want to ask them now. I want to ask that question.
Well, I don't work for TxDOT anymore. That's a little bit. That's some information.
It's probably the one thing we hear more from about any road in the area.
I believe it. I tried to drive it on a Saturday morning. It's ugly.
Yeah.
Christina, did you have a quick question?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask a question. I know many times I live towards the back of Kingwood, but I always go down Hamblin Road to avoid the traffic. Have you thought about widening Hamblin Road to 4 lanes? Or?
Yes, that was one of the recommendations. It was outside the top 5. We're probably going to have to find some additional funding to do it. So if you look at priorities, that was probably Kingwood, our 3rd priority. North Park, Kingwood Drive, 1 and 1A, and then Hamlin Road. But it makes sense to extend and to widen Woodland Hills all the way to Hamlin Road to 59, and then move people down that way. There is a developer that has some land right near Barrington that I'm meeting with, was supposed to meet with on Friday. I think they just canceled, but I was looking at an email. If that development goes through, it's going to put more pressure on Hamlin and Woodland Hills, so we'll probably have to move it up, hopefully with the city's approval. But another question on that hands-free, we were actually sitting back waiting for the state of Texas to do something statewide. Since they didn't do anything, we're going to have to do it from a local level.
Let's give our panelists a round of applause. Gentlemen, we have a y'all being here. Thank you very much. We've got a couple of quick announcements before we leave. Terry Bond, would you come up and say a few things about Leadership Lake Houston real quick?
So we just finished Leadership Lake Houston. I was a part of it, as are many of the people in the audience, and it's a great opportunity. I wanted to tell you guys that we are currently accepting applications until tomorrow. So if you want to be a part of this great thing, you can form lifelong friendships. You learn a lot about our community, ways that you can give back, and certainly are a much better citizen after you go through it. Jen will be out of town tomorrow, so if you need any help with it, you got to apply today. We do have scholarships available. You can get partial scholarships or full scholarships, so don't let the money be a deterrent. If you want to be a part of it, please apply.
Thanks, Terry. One more quick announcement. Emails went out this morning. Because of the weather, we had to move Party on the Green to June the 4th. And we made staff made the determination in conjunction with the Clubs of Kingwood that with all the rain we had, it's better to move it indoors. So the Party on the Green is going to be on June the 4th, beginning at 6:30. It's going to be at the Overlook in Atascocita. So make sure you put that down on your calendars. We're still expecting over 400 people there. It's our largest fundraiser. We need you there. Enjoy good food from Rafa's and music, and we're going to have a cigar bar and our auctions. It's going to be a great evening, great event, and hats off to the Chamber staff. I know they've spent lots and lots of hours on trying to regroup and rechannel things, and so now we're back to doing it indoors this year, and we're going to do it at the Overlook. So that's Thursday, June the 4th at 6:30. At the Overlook. We hope to see you there. Lastly, I want to thank our sponsors again. Our presenting sponsor, Ferguson Bath and Kitchen Gallery. Our gold sponsor, Waste Connections of Texas. Our bronze sponsor, FFG Strategic Consulting, LLC Engineering Solutions. And once again, I want to thank our presenters today. Let's give our sponsors and our presenters a round of applause. That said, our luncheon is over. Thank y'all for coming.